Welcome to the deep dive. Thanks for sending over that stack of material. Looks like a lot on potential crypto opportunities, yeah. Specifically for 2025.
Yeah, quite a pile. Interesting stuff.
So our mission today, is to unpack all this together. We're going to pull out the key nuggets, figure out which altcoins these sources are bullish on and why, basically give you the shortcut to what this research is saying.
And it's interesting right off the bat, the perspective in here. Despite, all the market ups and downs, the message is consistently, you're not late. The sources seem pretty convinced there are several altcoins with strong fundamentals, growing adoption, and bullish momentum. They're talking about potential for explosive growth. So, yeah, let's dig into which ones they mean.
Okay, let's do it. Let's unpack this stack. So they focus on 10 specific altcoins. They see these as like prime candidates for big growth in 2025.
Right. We'll go one by one.
Yeah, let's pull out what the sources say about each.
Yeah.
What they're trying to do, why they might grow, any technicals mentioned.
Exactly. What's the project goal, the growth drivers, according to the material, and, any charts or signals they flagged.
Okay, first up is Qubetics, or TICS. Sources are calling it Web3's game changer.
You go, Qubetics, the material positions it as like the first Web3 aggregator.
Aggregator, so bringing things together.
Exactly. Trying to consolidate blockchain tools, data, development environments. Basically a one-stop shop.
Huh. And what makes it a game changer in their view? What's the hook?
Well, a big part seems to be the no-code, low-code platform.
Okay. Making it easier for people.
Right. So users can launch smart contracts, DeFi apps, NFT stuff without needing, super deep coding skills.
Gotcha.
And the sources note it's in pre-sale now, but has already raised, over $16.9 million.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're projecting potential 295% ROI if the token hits $1 after launch. Pretty ambitious.
Okay. Interesting start. Let's move to the next one. Helium, HNT. Now this one, your sources seem to spend a lot of time on. They call it decentralizing wireless infrastructure.
Yeah, Helium gets a dedicated section. It's definitely got an ambitious goal, basically transforming wireless connectivity.
How so?
Through a decentralized network, community-powered. Users deploy these little LoRaWAN hotspots.
Right. I've heard of those.
And they earn HNT tokens for providing internet coverage, sort of like crowdsourcing connectivity.
So the material really breaks down why they think Helium could surge next year.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they point to several key drivers.
Like what?
Well, one is Helium Mobile expanding. That's their decentralized wireless service.
Okay.
They're partnering with major telecom networks, apparently, aiming for lower cost service.
That could be big.
Yeah. And they also mention potential regulatory tailwinds.
Yeah.
Governments may be favoring decentralized networks, especially for remote areas. That could boost global adoption.
Interesting angle. And the token itself, the sources mention something about the mechanics.
Yes, they highlight the burn and mint equilibrium. It's designed to balance the HNT supply with network demand.
So as more people use it,
tokens get burned, which helps control the supply as adoption grows.
Yeah.
It's a key part of the model described.
Got it. What about partnerships? Did the sources give specifics?
Definitely. Yeah, they cite deals with large-scale IoT providers.
Okay, like for what?
Things like smart cities, agriculture, logistics, integrating Helium's network, real-world uses, basically, which strengthens the utility case.
Right, not just theory. Any technical signals the sources flagged for HNT, charts, data?
They did. They mentioned strong buying pressure. Looking at on-chain data shows increased accumulation by, whales. And technical indicators like RSI and MCD apparently approaching a bullish crossover. Analysts see that as positive.
Okay.
Plus, just a surge in network activity, more active hotspots online.
All right, that's a lot on Helium. Let's shift gears. The sources also look at the Solana ecosystem, specifically Solaxy.
Solaxy.
They call it Solana's first layer 2 solution, and they think it could supercharge Solana. Big claims.
It is a big claim. Solaxy is presented as, a layer 2 scaling solution. Built specifically to help Solana with network reliability.
Which has been an issue sometimes, right, during high traffic.
Exactly. So Solaxy aims to improve speed and stability for Solana's main network.
And how does it actually do that, according to the material?
Well, the way it's described is it processes transactions off-chain, away from the main Solana network.
Okay.
But then it settles them securely back on Solana's base layer. So you get the security, but less congestion on the main chain.
Interesting. Like a bypass lane.
Kind of, yeah. And the key component mentioned is the Solaxy bridge.
For moving assets.
Right. Seamless asset transfers between Solana and Solaxy's Layer 2, aiming to cut fees and speed things up, especially for DeFi and NFTs on Solana.
Now, the sources also talked about funding for Solaxy, didn't they?
They did, yeah.
Yeah.
Significant funding. The material states Solaxy secured $36.3 million.
That's serious backing.
It definitely signals market confidence. And the pre-sale price is noted at 0.017272s. Analysts quoted in the sources are predicting strong growth post-mainnet launch, maybe 5-8x.
Because Solana needs scaling.
That's the core argument. As Solana's ecosystem grows, it needs solutions like this L2. Solaxy could be key.
Were there any specific tech innovations mentioned or indicators?
Yeah, the roadmap includes things like AI-driven transaction optimization and integrating zero-knowledge rollups eventually.
Okay, forward-looking stuff.
And indicators, increasing developer adoption, this strong pre-sale momentum they mentioned, and just general market sentiment pointing towards that price increase.
All right. Next up, BTC Bull. BTCBULL. This one sounds different. The sources highlight earning Bitcoin airdrops.
Yeah, this has a unique hook for sure. The whole project is designed to reward holders with actual Bitcoin.
How?
When BTC itself hits certain price milestones, the sources specifically mentioned the first airdrop triggers at $150,000 for Bitcoin.
Oh, and
Then subsequent airdrops every $50,000 increase after that. So 200K, 250K, and so on.
So your potential return is directly, explicitly tied to Bitcoin's price going up, not just the token's own value.
Exactly. It links itself directly to Bitcoin's performance. Plus, on top of the airdrops, the sources mentioned deflationary tokenomics.
Meaning?
A burning mechanism, kind of like Bitcoin's halving concept, to reduce the total supply over time. They mentioned 15% of the total supply is specifically for a milestone burn fund.
Okay, interesting model. How's it doing now, according to the material? Status, indicators.
Well, the pre-sale has reportedly raised over $5.8 million. The token price currently is 0.00251 a day, and it increases with each pre-sale stage.
Standard pre-sale structure.
Pretty much. And indicators, well, increasing pre-sale participation, obviously.
Yeah.
The relevance of Bitcoin's bullish trend, potentially triggering those airdrops sooner rather than later.
Right. That's the gamble.
And the scarcity potential from that burning mechanism. That's what the sources point to.
Okay, let's unpack the next one. This looks like a blend of a couple of hot trends. MIND of Pepe, MIND, described as AI meets meme coins.
Yeah, this one's trying to be more than just your average meme coin. The angle is integrating advanced AI tech.
How so? What kind of AI?
The sources get pretty specific. They mention things like RG, retrieval augmented generation,
Okay.
semantic vector matching, and a persona-trained LLM, a large language model. These are all techniques to make AI, smarter and more context-aware.
So how does that AI actually work in the project? What's it do?
According to the material, the AI is used to enhance user interactions within their ecosystem, maybe generate content, optimize how the token works. They also highlight a modular AI framework and a persistent data layer. Suggests it's built to be upgraded to keep learning.
Right. And the sources also mention strong pre-sale numbers and staking rewards.
Correct. Pre-sale reportedly over $9.3 million. MIND priced at 0.00037515. And yeah, the staking rewards are high. 244% APY mentioned.
Whoa.
Which the sources suggest is designed to attract long-term holders, obviously. They also note 10% of the supply is reserved for exchange listing liquidity.
Makes sense. And what indicators should someone look out for, according to these sources?
Well, the increasing pre-sale participation again. The general appeal of mixing AI with meme culture, which is, a powerful combo right now.
Right.
And those high staking rewards definitely incentivize holding. That's a key indicator they point out.
Okay, shifting gears again. Back to DeFi infrastructure. Hyperliquid, HYPE. The sources call this a Layer 1 blockchain revolutionizing DeFi.
Yeah, Hyperliquid is interesting. It's not built on Ethereum or another chain. It operates on its own custom Layer 1 blockchain.
Built from scratch for DeFi.
Exactly. Designed specifically for DeFi apps. The sources really emphasize its consensus algorithm, HyperBFT.
And that's special because...
Optimized for speed, low fees, and security.
All right.
All the things you really need for trading platforms, lending.
Critical for DeFi, yeah. And has it seen much use? What kind of scale are we talking?
According to the sources, yes, significant scale already. Over 400,000 users. And get this, $1.2 trillion in trade volume processed.
Trillion, wow.
Yeah. And the token, HYPE, has apparently done well recently, too. Surged nearly 100% last month, trading above $25.
Okay, so given it's already done well, why do the sources see more potential for a surge in 2025? What's the next step?
Well, beyond the existing performance in the tech,
Yeah.
the sources point to the expanding ecosystem.
More projects building on it.
Exactly. Attracting DeFi developers looking for those scalable, low-fee, high-speed alternatives for yield farming, lending, perps trading.
Gotcha.
Plus institutional backing, strategic partnerships are mentioned, expanding liquidity pools, cross-chain integrations, just general growth drivers.
And technical indicators for Hyperliquid. What did the material highlight there?
Increasing trading volume on the platform itself, the strong price momentum, the consistent upward trend, and yeah, that growing developer adoption, building new stuff on their chain.
All right, now let's look at maybe a more familiar name that's on this list. AAVE. Sources call it the largest money lending market in crypto and a DeFi lending giant poised for massive growth.
Yeah, Aave is definitely a cornerstone of DeFi. It's a decentralized lending protocol. Users borrow and lend crypto directly via smart contracts.
Cutting out the middleman.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And the sources position it as a giant because it's track record, security, transparency, efficiency. It's been around. It's trusted.
And the scale. The sources gave some numbers, right?
Impressive ones. Over $26 billion in deposit.
Billion, okay.
Yeah, reflects huge user confidence. And revenue apparently grew 10x in the past year. That money funds grants, staking rewards for AVE holders.
So it's established, it's huge.
Well,
why do the sources think it's poised for massive growth still? What's the future potential?
Well, they see increasing institutional adoption of DeFi lending.
Ah, the big money moving in.
Right. And as institutions look to get involved, Aave is seen as a top choice because it's proven it has the features they need.
Makes sense.
Plus, Aave keeps expanding. Multi-chain strategy, integrating with Ethereum Layer 2s, other blockchains.
For scalability and lower costs.
Exactly. And those ongoing staking rewards keep incentivizing people to hold and participate.
Any specific technical indicators the sources mentioned for Aave?
Yeah, increasing TVL total value locked.
Mm-hmm.
That $26 billion figure is a key metric.
Right.
Bullish price momentum analysts quoted predict a potential 3-5x price increase. And just the expanding use cases, more projects plugging into Aave's lending pools.
Okay. Another DeFi project here with a really interesting angle. Pendle. Pendle. The sources say it's tokenizing future yield. What does that mean?
Pendle's approach is quite innovative. It lets users take yield-bearing assets, thinks staked ETH, or liquidity pool tokens, and split them into two separate tradable tokens. One represents the principal, the underlying asset, that's the PT, principal token.
Got it. And the other?
The other represents the future yield that asset is expected to generate. That's the YT, yield token. So you can trade the yield itself.
Ah, so you can bet on future yields or lock in fixed rates. Interesting.
Exactly. It unlocks completely new strategies for managing yield and speculating.
Sounds complex, but powerful. Has it gained traction? What do the sources say?
Explosive traction, according to the material. TVL total value locked surged to $4.4 billion.
Billion! Again, wow. That's fast growth.
Yeah, indicates strong adoption for this yield trading concept and significant institutional backing too. Binance Labs, Spartan Group, Arbitrum Foundation, big names lending credibility.
And the financial performance side. Fees. Revenue.
Sources note strong revenue and fee generation. Mentioned Pendle generated $5.6 million in fees in just 1 month.
Okay, so it's working as a business.
It seems so. They position yield trading as this hot new DeFi trend that's really gaining steam.
What indicators do the sources highlight for Pendle's potential going forward?
Well, the increasing TVL and trading volume are key metrics, obviously. Strong market sentiment analysts quoted are predicting maybe 5-8x growth potential in 2025. And just the expanding DeFi use cases it enables, attracting both institutional and retail folks to these new yield strategies.
All right, switching gears a bit now. Layer 1 platforms attracting specific niches. The sources talk about Avalanche, AVAX, calling it the Layer 1 blockchain powering Web3 gaming and meme coins.
Yeah, Avalanche.
Yeah.
It's known as a high-performance, smart contract platform, fast, low fees compared to some others.
Right.
And a key feature the sources highlight is its subnet architecture.
Subnets. Explain that quickly.
Basically allows projects to create their own custom, scalable blockchain environments. They're connected to Avalanche, but operate semi-independently so they don't clog up the main network.
Ah, like dedicated lanes again?
Yeah.
Useful for demanding apps, like gaming?
Exactly. And the focus on gaming seems really significant in the material. They specifically mention Avalanche onboarding AAA game studios.
Oh, what too?
Names like Shrapnel, Bloodloop, Off the Grid, integrating blockchain stuff into mainstream games.
That's a big area.
Huge. And they also note a growing meme coin ecosystem on Avalanche, likely due to those low fees and fast transactions. Easier to trade quickly.
Makes sense. What about backing and market performance for Avalanche?
Sources list strong institutional backing Pantera Capital, A16's is, Coinbase Ventures, big VC names.
Okay.
And they mentioned its market recovery. It had a drop earlier this year, like 50%, but has rebounded. Analysts quoted predict a potential 3-5x price increase in the next 6 months.
And technical indicators for AVX? Anything specific from the sources?
Increasing developer activity, especially on those subnets, showing ecosystem growth.
Right.
Strong market sentiment, investors accumulating. And the growth driven by those specific niches, gaming and meme coins, pushing adoption and liquidity.
Yeah, okay. Nearly there. The last one the sources cover is SUI, SEVUI, positioned as a challenger to Solana and another layer 1 poised for explosive growth.
Yeah, SUI. It's a non-EVM layer 1, so different tech base than Ethereum. Founded by ex-Meta developers, actually.
Oh, interesting pedigree. What's its main focus?
Speed, mainly. It uses parallel transaction execution,
Yeah.
processing multiple transactions at the same time, basically. Aims for really high throughput without congestion, making it suitable for, again, demanding stuff like gaming, complex DeFi, NFTs.
And the sources mention a specific upgrade for SUI.
Yes, the Mysticetti upgrade. Highlighted as being pretty important for enhancing scalability even further, potentially enabling millions of transactions per second, they claim, while staying secure.
Millions. That's huge.
Ambitious, yeah.
What else drives its potential, according to this material?
Developer adoption is key. SUI is attracting developers looking for alternatives to existing chains. Its moved programming language is mentioned as a factor there.
Okay.
Institutional backing, again, from top VCs. And expanding use cases, onboarding games, DeFi protocols, NFT marketplaces that drives network activity and adoption.
And the technical indicators for SEVUI I mentioned in the sources.
Growing developer interest is a big one. Strong market sentiment, with analysts predicting, again, a 3-5x price increase based on adoption trends, and just the general expansion of the ecosystem on SUI fueling growth.
Wow. Okay, so we've really unpacked that stack of sources you sent over. Covered a lot of ground.
We did.
A real mix of projects, huh? From Web3 aggregator, decentralized wireless, layer 2s, reward tokens, AI memes.
Yeah. Then dedicated DeFi chains like Hyperliquid, the big players like Aave, yield innovators like Pendle.
And layer 1s focusing on niches like gaming with Avalanche or pure speed like SUI. It's a fascinating list.
And the sources definitely make a compelling case for each one based on their analysis. They back it up with data points funding, TVL, growth, partnerships.
Right.
And that recurring theme, that core message from the material was definitely, you are not late.
Yeah.
They seem convinced there's still significant opportunity looking ahead to 2025.
So what does it all mean? I mean, these sources present a snapshot, right? A specific viewpoint on projects they think are primed for big moves. It's a lot to absorb, 10 different projects.
Definitely a lot to process.
But the goal was really just to pull out the core reasons why these particular articles and research pieces landed on these 10.
And reflecting on all that, it does raise an interesting question for you, the listener, based purely on what these sources presented.
Yep.
Given the incredible diversity of strategies here, you've got building new layer 1s, enhancing old ones, unique reward ideas, AI integration. What does this sheer variety suggest about the different paths to potential success in crypto, at least according to this set of sources? After hearing about all 10, does any particular approach or type of project stand out more to you? Something to think about?
That's a great takeaway question. Well, thanks again for bringing this stack of material for us to dive into. We really hope unpacking these sources helps you feel, well informed on the altcoins these particular articles are highlighting for 2025.